Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back, Trading Futures Live. My name is George. Day 71 of Trading Futures Live. Every day, live in front of the camera. We show you our winners. We show you our losers. We try and be as transparent as possible. Very quickly, trading is inherently risky and can result in the loss of capital. So please do not take any of our trades or copy any of our trades. We are here for educational purposes only. And let's go ahead and get right into it. We got a few minutes before the market opens. We already did our pre-market analysis at 9 a.m. You can catch us live every day at 9 a.m. for the pre-market analysis. In the news today, the 18th, we got Philly Fed Manufacturing Index already came out, better than expected, as well as unemployment claims. We are waiting at 10 a.m. for existing home sales, so we're going to want to keep an eye out for that. We do have an FOMC member speaking at 1:20 p.m. as well. So if you're trading at that time, be aware. And then nothing tomorrow, mortgage delinquencies. But looking ahead to next week, we do have a good week of news ahead. Nothing on Monday, but red folders on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, as well as some good orange folders on Wednesday. So good week of news ahead. If we go ahead and take a look at the markets thus far overnight, I've got the four major indexes here to the left, and we're going to basically be opening up flat right at yesterday's close. The red dotted line is yesterday's close for the ES, the Nasdaq. I've got the Dow and the Russell, and they spent the Asian session below. The European session price shot back up and have since pulled back. We had a spike. The spike there was the news at 8:30 a.m. and have since pulled back to the opening price base or the closing price from yesterday. So, gonna basically open up flat. We've got the dollar trying to push up after pushing up in the Asian session, pulled back to the open during the European session. Chopped around a little bit, and it looks like the U.S. session is trying to break back to the upside. Obviously, the much higher time frame trend on the dollar is up, and we did break yesterday's high in the overnight as well as the day before. So set a new high there on the overnight that hasn't been since August 5th. So bullish there on the dollar. That's a bit of bearish sentiment for us in the market there, but we'll see what the dollar continues to do. Crude still holding below 90, but it's been climbing today, and gold holding below the 1800 and holding below this resistance there at 1786, but trapped between yesterday's lows and that resistance from yesterday. So let's take a look at the charts. We've got less than a minute to go, 18 seconds. It's going to be the 2-minute. We'll check the volume there shortly. The 5-minute, and if we go ahead and actually take a quick look at the 60-minute, my if-then scenarios that I've got so far, we've got some areas down here at the lows from the overnight, the low from yesterday, and as well as the low from Monday. So going to be very cautious there. Going to be looking more for reversals. I expect it to be more of a ranging day today than an actual trending day. We're still inside of yesterday's range. And so if we come down into demand areas, I'm going to be looking more so to get long before I try and take the breakout short. And the same to the upside. I'm going to be looking to short from these highs before I try and get long. I need to see it break the high on the weekly before I make any attempts at getting long. Oh man, did I lose the EMAs here? All right, markets are open. I did have the higher time frame EMAs on these charts yesterday and even this morning as I was setting up my charts, but I must have lost them somehow. So we'll work to get those back on. The EMAs that I'm talking about, we've got the 200 SMA up here acting as resistance right now, and we have the 200 EMA to the downside. We do have a trend line that's formed there over this bull run on the daily, and but we are trapped between that trend line and this trend line on the weekly. So we're at a nice inflection point for the market. Is it going to reverse from here, or are we going to continue to move up? And so that's more so why I'm expecting it to be a ranging day, and even a ranging and therefore a ranging week. It's because we had such a nice push last week that I don't necessarily expect this weekly candle to be a wide-ranging weekly candle. Push, price needs to consolidate there, absorb the new price that it's at, and decide, okay, are we going to move higher from here, or are we going to maybe come and test this consolidation area down here before going back up? So those are kind of the two scenarios that I'm looking at here on the weekly before I change my mind to bullish on the weekly. Is, do we break the trend line and push up before pulling back and then going long, or do we break down and test areas down here before going long, or do we just reverse completely? So that's why we show up every day. All right, let's see what the volume was like so far. Very, very, very low. That is beyond low volume in those first 2 minutes. I mean, that is terrible, terrible, terrible volume. Look at how low it is down here below 10,000. I consider anything below 15,000 in the first 2 minutes low volume, and we're even below 10. So very low volume so far. We'll see what the 5-minute tells us. All right, so starting to break down here at the open. Breaking through my initial support level, right? We had a resistance in the overnight, broke through, then became support, and is cleanly breaking through that. As usual, we're going to stay very patient, guys. Good morning to everybody. Yes, Aaron, let's get it. How's it going, Python? You guys watch my recap. I ended up taking 4 trades yesterday. I did make money, but it was 1 break even, then 2 losers, and then 1 winner that I was able to almost squeeze 3R out of. So I ended up up 1.5 R because my 2 losers totaled 1.5 R loss. Wasn't pretty, but got a little FOMO right after the news at 2 p.m. and my first loss I'm okay with. My second half-hour loser was most certainly a FOMO trade. I got in very, very late. It reversed soon after, and was able to take it back down here. And finally, my final target out right at the low, actually. All right, first 5 minutes closed. Strong push to the downside. Let's see what kind of volume we've got comparatively to days past. We're up here around 24,000 and still pretty low. We got Monday was fairly low as well, but definitely on the lower end. Definitely on the lower end. See all these days way above this blue line. So definitely low volume today. And like I said in the pre-market, we're going to work on trading the ranges today. I'm not necessarily in a rush to take a breakout to the downside. Got a nice higher time frame trend line here formed on the daily that we need to be respecting. Do have the lower part of this zone that hasn't been tested yet. And we do have, it's quite a large zone, but it had a heck of a run up here last week that it left from, that I'm going to be very, very aware of as well. Gonna stay patient again, guys. The NQ did drop, but it is has pulled back quite significantly. The one that's holding down the most right now is the YM, is the Dow. Let's go ahead and take a look at the internals thus far as well. We opened up basically flat because we opened up basically flat with yesterday. And so very much a ranging day type of feel right now. Didn't open up in any extreme type of territory. Doesn't have anything to like retrace because we opened up flat. Not really any sort of gap to fill. We'll see if anything here picks a trend. Here on the internals, we do have the dollar pushing up to the highs of the overnight, but needs to break that to really be. This high is a new high there from the last few days, though. If we go ahead and take a look at, let's say, a 90-minute, it did break yesterday's high, and it even broke the high from the day before in the overnight. Getting a strong push there. That is bearish for the market. And the VIX essentially flat. Did come down in the overnight, but it's been flat here, holding right around 20 or above 20, really. Let's see if it breaks down. Dollar reverses. We'd maybe look for some longs, but very much looking like a very slow morning, low volume. We're going to trade this patiently. Good morning, guys. If you're just joining us, not much so far. Very slow morning. Very, very, very little volume. We opened up near flat. If we go to, let's go to the 15-minute. We opened up near flat on the indexes. We do have the Dow is the weakest one, at least sustaining the push down. The rest of them have all had some type of retracement in the push down. The Dow has been the strongest market over the last week or two, maybe even longer than that, but certainly over the last week, Dow has been the strongest, holding above the 200 SMA that the others, the ES has broken it, but is now holding below. And so it's a heck of a pullback there on the NQ and the Russell. Going to wait and see if some type of trend forms here on the internals. Got the advanced decline on the top, the advanced decline for the NYSE, advanced decline for the Nasdaq here on the middle right, on the middle top, and then the tick charts for the corresponding NYSE and the tick charts for the Nasdaq here. And we've got the dollar breaking there to new highs. That is certainly bearish for the market. But not really any push down. We did have the push down, but everything is recovering. That's the ES there. It's the NQ recovering. Already broken. Already pulled back to the open and even broken that opening candle there. So trying to create a range here in the first 15 minutes that maybe we can look to trade in a little bit. We do have some news at 10 a.m. that we do want to be aware of. Existing home sales at 10 a.m. And so that is most certainly an economic indicator, a broader market economic indicator that we're going to want to be aware of. Not necessarily going to push the market in one direction, one way or the other, but it could introduce a little bit of volatility right there at 10 a.m. And so if you're in a trade or you're about to get in a trade, you may want to, you're certainly going to want to be aware of it. So we had a push down, retracement, pushing back down again. I don't really have any levels there. My levels are more the overnight low, along with these lows from yesterday, and even the lows from a few days back here. So one giant zone incorporating all three of these lows here. And so if we're going to range, I'm going to want to be ready to try and get long from down here, as well as long from my zone that I have a little bit lower down here. It is a much larger zone, but need to see what happens from this first zone first. We do have a higher time frame trend line here formed on the daily that we need to respect as well. And so we're going to stay patient. Again, I took 4 trades yesterday, much more than I like to normally take. I'm here to take 1 or 2 good trades. First one was a break even, then I took 2 losers, and finally was able to get a winner for almost 3R on that trade, but I ended up the day only 1.5R up, but made some money. So I can't complain. Now, if we do take a look here at the hourly, does look like the market could be trying to roll over, right? We were forming higher highs and higher lows, and now we've started to form lower highs and lower lows, at least a lower low here. And so, especially if we do break below these lows, that would be a confirmation this wants to roll over. Not necessarily a confirmation for me to get in short, because it could make a new low to then pull back to continue the trend down. And so that's where I'm going to be looking more so for a long from these areas down here before I look to really get short. Now, I would say the Russell and the Dow are the 2 weakest. They haven't broken the overnight low, but they got right up to it. And the Dow is certainly holding at the lowest prices comparatively to the other indexes. And price for the most part on the 4 major indexes has just been holding inside of or at least been trading inside of the value area from yesterday. So still no major moves in any direction. And so we wait and we stay patient. And we keep this as boring as possible, in my opinion. think I even need to add that to my trade plan. Keep this as boring as possible. Anybody got anything out there that they're looking at? I mean, everything is just flat, down a quarter percent, down 0.14, down a quarter percent, down 0.12. I mean, down 5 points on the ES, 75 on the Dow, 30 on the NQ. Internals not showing anything thus far, although the VIX finally started to push up in line with the dollar. Is more bearish for the market if these two charts are moving up. We should expect to see the charts moving down, but no confirmation here from any of these internals. I mean, you could start to see a trend line forming here, but not any strong enough push for me to let me know if you guys have any questions. All right, guys, 5 minutes left in this first 30. We do have news at 10 o'clock. Hopefully that does introduce some volatility into this market because, yeesh. Because, yeesh. Aaron, are you using NinjaTrader? And Python, what platform do you use? Feel free to chime in, anybody else out there. I'm not just asking them specifically, but Could here potentially be short. Price opened, broke down, retested, gave this nice rejection candle here on the 2 minute with a ton of volume in it on that rejection. That is not necessarily my type of trade. It is something that I do look at, but there's not enough volatility today for me to actually take it. But price is certainly open down, holding below the open. Holding below this resistance level that was resistance here in the overnight. Then became support, broke through here at the open, holding below. So you could look to take it, could have looked to take it short down to this level. Gave the rejection candle, broke the low, got in on a pullback. Think or swim for charts, stage 5 for futures trading, and Ninja. I've never even heard of stage 5. Interesting. Have to look that up today. So far, not very much though. Nothing has broken the overnight low yet though. As far as any of the other indexes, and so it's another reason that this trade wasn't the right setup for me. We had maybe some of the other markets pushing down, breaking levels, but nothing's broken any levels yet, and so I still have no bias yet in this market. I'm still going to be looking more so for longs down in these demand areas than I am to take breakouts to the downside. Certainly a make it, take it type of day. To get into something and you're up. This is not the I'm not expecting much of a trending type day, at least not yet. And so don't hold on to your trades expecting it to break through any levels right now. Not enough volume to break through any levels. Expect the trades to get absorbed at your levels and get reversed. The trade setup that I am talking about, that I did mention though, is something that I've been working on sim and in playback mode on Ninja. Ninja, you can download market data as far back as I believe 3 months, and you can then play it back like if it was live data, and you can fast forward it and whatnot. And so it is something that I work on in playback mode, but I haven't refined the trade plan enough yet. I've taken it a few times live with you guys, but I haven't refined that trade plan enough yet to take it very often. And like I said earlier, right, looks here like on the 1 hour we're trying to roll over. We were making clean higher highs, but then we could not make a higher high here. This was the overnight yesterday though, and we pushed down, making a new low during the actual regular trading hour session. So making a new low, making a lower high, and so we'll see. Do we make a new low again? Confirming this new downtrend, at least on this time frame. And that's kind of what I'm waiting to see. But even if we do make a new low, like I said earlier, it's not a confirmation for me to get in right away on any type of short. I do expect some exhaustion back up before really trying to get into a short and to complete the rollover. And so, gonna stay patient. Like I said, I'm looking more to take these demand areas that I have down here long before I think about taking anything short. Have a higher time frame demand here, and so I need to see it. I need to see it break down, come back up before really trying to get short. And on a lower time frame, what I'm looking for is a breakdown and some sort of retest on a much lower time frame, on a 2 minute or a 5 minute, to get long from before taking it back down. And so these arrows here are my if then statements, right? If we break down and then have a retest, I'll look to get long, but I need to make sure that the internals are looking favorably for that. And I need to see a strong push down, breaking the trend line, and a heck of a retest before getting short. And the same but opposite is true to the upside. We get up into yesterday's highs. I'm looking for a retest and confirmation from the internals to try and get short, or a strong bullish move and breakout of the highs from Tuesday, and then a pullback before trying to get long. All right, the Dow finally broke the overnight low, testing the lows from yesterday. The Russell just broke right now, but the NQ has not and has retraced some quite a bit. So NQ is looking like it's trying to be the strongest market right now on this pullback here, because even the ES is holding down much better than the NQ, but um, the Dow is now into yesterday's lows, and so we can expect to see some kind of reaction off of there potentially. That news didn't provide much of anything. A little bit of a spike down, but a quick rejection back up. Both the Dow and the Russell have gotten quickly rejected off of that breakdown. Both here and here. And again, the ES hasn't even really made it down there yet. The NQ did and got rejected off, but do have the dollar continuing to push up. All right, guys, first 45 minutes in, not much movement, nothing for me to really take. The only minor setup that I would have had is, again, this rejection candle there after the open. And we did break out to a new low from it, so that nice push out with a retest of basically this candle there to get short, but still wouldn't have even gone would have gone 1-to-1 thus far, but no movement. 45 minutes in, very little movement. The only thing to break any levels is the Russell and the Dow, but they quickly got rejected off of that break, and so we're waiting to see maybe if they ran out of their steam to the downside and start to push up. Maybe maybe we could potentially think about getting long, but very low volume today. Very. We don't get any movement in the next 15 minutes. I'm probably gonna call it a morning, because that'll be reason enough for the market to stop moving. Is when I go off the live session. So, uh, but for now, we're gonna stay patient. You saw my pre-market analysis here on the 1 hour chart. We did break through my pre-market support level right at the open, a strong push down, retested it, and have been sitting below it, but no follow through as of yet. Looking more so to play the reversals off of these ranges here, tradable reactions, and the opposite for the highs. If we get up into these highs, I'm going to be looking for a retest to try and get short. I'm going to need to see a strong bullish move up and break of this high, and then a retest before I look to get long. And to the downside to get short, I'm going to need to see a strong break of this low, but even more likely a strong break of this trend line, higher time frame daily trend line that I have here. A strong break of that, and then a retest before trying to get short, because I do have a nice demand down here that I like from this nice strong move up on Monday. Sorry, on Friday. This nice strong move up on Friday. And so some decent quality demand for me to consider down here before I look to start to get short. And that's the plan right now. Feel free to let me know if you guys are looking at anything out there. I don't know if anybody trades gold or crude. Bison's looking to get short 42.74.75. Right there at the highs. Right there at this recent high. I'm not mad at you. Take profit 62.75. Stop loss 81. Yeah, stop loss right above the opening. So risking about 6 points. Yeah, 2-1. All right. I don't mind, but it has already tested that once. I'm certainly do not want to get you out of your plan. I do want to see move at for me. I like confirmation. We've talked about that plenty. So I want to see the price action confirmation, which it may have given it here on this 5-minute candle. Closed neutral. If it would have closed bearish, that may have been the confirmation for me to try and get in, but not yet for me. If price is going to go down, though, it needs to go down from here. So I do like the trade in that regard. The Russell and the Dow, though, have started to reverse. Starting to see a push up here, especially on the Russell's already back above yesterday's close. In fact, now it's the only one in positive territory. At least in the futures market, not necessarily in the actual stock market. But it is above yesterday's close. Testing this 21 EMA that I have there on the 15-minute. See if it gets rejected back down. Tick chart did spike to a new high there on that recent push. VIX retraced its entire push up back at the daily lows right at 20. Gonna stay patient, guys. Got about 2 minutes left in this 30. It's going to be the first hour of the regular trading hour session. And we've done about 15 points, maybe 16. 16 or 17 points in the first hour. No volatility today, no volume. Yeah, I'm not long. I'm not long yet. I mean, I understand your thoughts. We have resistance here, was support. Now it's resistance if we get a breakthrough. right? Absolutely. I can understand that. Especially the market has tried to push down in this first hour, right? Russell and Dow broke to new lows, rejected off. Could they have run out of steam to the downside? Um, Under normal circumstances, I would say yes. My concern today is just that there's no volume. Uh, and so without the volume, there wasn't any steam to begin with that they like ran out of. If there was a ton of volume, they tried to break down, couldn't, reverse back up. Now, now that volume dies down to the downside, um, but the buyers are still there to push price up. Yes, that's just that's my hesitation today is the lack of volume for any sustained move in any direction. Uh, so today more than most days, the location needs to be fantastic. And by location, I just mean you can't be trading in the middle of nowhere. Uh, if you're gonna get short, you need to get short from one of your levels, like Python talked about here, right? We have a support and resistance level. You need to get short from up here. You can't get short down here because there's not necessarily enough volume to make sure that you're gonna break this pivot low and get down to there. So you want to make sure that you have enough profit potential and enough room that hey, it comes to test this low and it reverses back on you, you get out break even. If you're getting in now, oh, price is breaking and you're chasing price today with no volume and it gets down here, did it go far enough for you to get out break even, or are you gonna have to like risk your whole stop? That's my hesitation today with the extreme lack of volume. Um, I mean, let's check out this 5 minute because Monday was a very low volume day, and I feel like today is even lower than Monday. No, we're basically right in line with Monday here. But Monday was very, very low volume, right? And that's where we're at. All right, so stop loss at break even. And hey, it is what it is, right? You do have a pivot here to concern yourself with. You had a heck of an entry right at the top at 74.75, so new 30-minute. So you're protecting yourself from the volatility of that 30-minute. Short 42.70, looking for 42.60. That's a tough trade there, James. I don't necessarily mind it. I'd rather be short right now than long, that's for sure, but absolutely no volume and no follow through today. So stay patient, guys. No trade is better than a bad trade. Can I ask you guys what kind of risk reward you guys normally go for? Pisons looks like a 2-to-1. I go for 2-to-1 myself. I'm working on smaller zones to try and go for 3-to-1 trades. Franco's minimum 3-to-1, but he's on a much smaller time frame, and so he has much smaller zones. Something that I'm working on, but I just like the 2-minute too much. It keeps me patient, keeps me from jumping in and out of stuff and over trading. And again, just no follow through. We're still inside of value on all 4 major indexes from yesterday. So we have not made any moves. They've tested the lows and they've broken the value area lows from yesterday, but they're all back inside of the value area. Not really any major earnings today. I believe it was like Ross and All right. Prices at least moving. Like the longs over regular trading hours, open at 77.50. Waiting for confirmation, target to 96.25. Yeah, so target to the highs from somewhere up over here. Ton of volume in this 2-minute candle. In fact, that's the highest volume on the day there. See if we got any follow through above the open. Right there. Yeah. All right, for me, I'd like to see a strong push out. A pullback, and right now my potential zone, if I did want to get long, but it needs to break out from here, would probably be that. But I need to see a strong push out. Can chop around, nice leg out. That high volume candle there would be my zone. Also want to see how this 5-minute here closes. This 5-minute will also be a 15-minute candle close. Minute left. The advanced decline pushed to an extreme high with that here on the ES. With that push, advanced decline finally looks like it rolled over, broke to a new high there as well. The other markets are starting to push back up. The Dow is the weakest one, not pushing very much, but the Russell's starting to push. NQ's push some. ES is above the 21 EMA, and Russell is above the 21 EMA. ES is holding right there at the 15-minute 21 EMA. Closed right on it. So a nice 15-minute candle outside of the sideways action down here, but not confirmation for me to get long yet. It did not close above the open. Again, I need to see a leg out from here to get long. The NQ also did not close above the open. It's not the open. Oh, no, this is the open. So it did close above the open. In this support and resistance level right now. Again, I'd like to see a break out of there. A nice push out. All right, let's see if we got a nice strong leg out. I do not have a setup video. I'm working on that though. Sorry about that, guys. All right, getting that leg out. I want to see a nice strong close. Let's take a quick look at the internals. Made new highs, broke back to the zero line, holding above. New high there on the NQ as well. Trying to complete the rollover here to the upside. Do need the dollar to come down if we want to be long. It did get rejected off of there, and we do want to see that break down. And the VIX is certainly in our favor now, breaking down. This 2-minute candle closing will coincide with this 5-minute candle closing. And it is closed. I'm going to get ready. All right, guys, my order is on. The live order in front of the cameras. Let's see if we get filled. Risking this, and I'm gonna get rid of this zone already. Risking this entire 2-minute candle here, high volume. It also is this 5-minute candle as well. So I've got the protection of really 2 5-minute candles. The one that was the leg out and the leg in. So let's see. I do wish my target, 2-to-1 target, was just below here, but I will take the full risk of this. The full 5-minute. Can even, so I'm risking 28 ticks. I can even bump that up to 30 and give myself a little bit of breathing room below the low there. The internals, again, a heavy pullback on the tick chart right now. That is what is not in our favor. We want to see the VIX continue to come down, and we'd like to see the dollar break down. And we'd like to see this tick chart get rejected off of there. We do not want to see the tick chart come and test these lows. But we've got, we do have pretty decent protection in this trade. I have absolutely accepted the risk in this trade. Go live or go home. Yep. Yeah. And the live trading and the recap and the way we do the recap, I think, is really just is the main difference between us and some other channels out there. Is we put the live trades on. Not only that, but in the recaps, we go over our thought process in the trade and during the trade and after the trade. We're not just giving you a general market analysis of some recaps that I see, which is just like, oh, the markets went long, you could have gone long here, and you could have done this here. We're not going through ifs. In the recap, we're going through our actual trades. So and James, you asked, do you have a setup video? I don't even know if I answered that because I got interrupted there. Been working on that in my brain over the last few days of making a video like that and exactly what I want to talk about. So hopefully this weekend I could get to that. But certainly within the next week or two, should have just a basic chart setup video, what I'm looking for, the zones, how I find the zones. So, in the works. Tick chart still not in our favor. We did not get rejected off of the 0 line again. Now we need to see rejection off of these lows if we expect this trade to work out. We want to see the dollar come down. We want to see the VIX continue to come down. And we do not want to see this roll over to the downside here on the advanced decline. We want to see it go up. Go up. The NQ came and didn't necessarily test the high, but came up to the top of the bodies here of these candles. Got rejected off. Same with the Russell. Got rejected off. Dow is certainly the weakest today. Didn't even get close. Got rejected off. It's a strong push down right there. Basically, the VWAP there is my last line of defense. As well as the 5-minute pulled back to its 21 EMA, but it's pushing through there right now. It did break through. So did the 2-minute. So not much defense is in the way left. Not very much defense in the way or left in this trade to turn this around and go up. My my hope is that not my hope, but the other last line is that this is the low on the tick chart, and it pops back up to the highs from there. Hope was the wrong word. No hopium here. I have accepted this risk. 1R. Not gonna make or break me. You get into the long, Aaron? Oh, yeah. Long 77 quarter. So you got a better entry than I did. Where are you in at, Python? $79.5. right, so I have a 7-point stop. 7 points is here. So this is 1-to-1 for me, 42.8650. I always like to get ahead of myself on these trades, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing. But with very little follow through today, the weakness on the Dow, I'm going to scale out one contract, just one. Here at 1-to-1. And again, like I said, getting very ahead of myself. That's quite the strong rejection there. I'm sure this tick chart looks terribly ugly right now. Yeah. So, like I said, one of my last lines of defense was also this being the low on the tick chart and it coming up and testing these highs, and we're now breaking to new lows. Just certainly not good for the trade. You'd have the dollar trying to roll back over, but now the last line is most certainly this VWAP. The other EMAs that I mentioned of getting blown through right now. Yeah. All right, -1. I'm going to leave this here for a while and see what actually ends up happening. Here, -1, not much movement. We're still, the open was 77.5, and we are at 73, 74 right now. Still within 3 points of the open, an hour and a half later. So definitely not the kind of market that we want to be taking a ton of trades in. I am absolutely turning this off until the afternoon at the very least. I'm going to go for a nice long walk, do some other things that I need to do, and maybe come back after 2 p.m. and see what we got going on here. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, 1 hour loss. Tesla has a story of the day. Chop City Central, leaning bearish here, kind of shoulder. Yeah, chop, 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 garbage. Thank you guys for joining us. Live trade. Show you our winners. We show you our losers. Down 253. Man, I even got slipped on that stop. 253.75. We'll have the daily recap near the end of the day, especially maybe I take another trade if we get some sort of push and movement and breakout. Other than that, thank you, Tom. Thank you, it's Dave. Thank you, James, Aaron, Pyson. Catch you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m., our pre-market analysis, and 9:25 we go live. Deuces.